Number 10, mistreating staff. Leading up to the Oprah interview, the Times reported accusations that Meghan mistreated her palace aides and staff prior to the 2020 exit. While Meghan denied the allegations, noting in a statement to Us in March 2021 that she was saddened by the latest attack on her character. The palace revealed they were investigating the claims. We are clearly very concerned about allegations in the Times following claims made by former staff of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The statement read, "Accordingly, our HR team will look into the circumstances outlined in the article. Members of staff involved at the time, including those who have left the household, will be invited to participate to see if lessons can be learned. The royal household has had a dignity at work policy in place for a number of years and does not and will not tolerate bullying or harassment in the workplace." Number 9, ditching friends for royal status. Is Meg ditching her friends for her royal status? A former friend and colleague who said Meghan ghosted her was Gina Nelthorpe Crown, who found the future Duchess to be hugely charismatic when they first met in 2014. Gina said she last heard from Meghan when the future Duchess told her she was giving up her career and terminating their contract. Ouch, Meghan felt no type of way about letting go of a former friend. It seems as if a couple people have claimed that she cut them off as soon as she and Harry became serious. So I wonder how Harry feels about this. But at the same time, if Meg knew these people would share her business, then it would only be safer and easier for her to keep her distance from them. Clearly, they're still talking about her and airing out her past, even though she doesn't talk to them anymore. So, did the Duchess make the right decision? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Number 8, mockery. Meghan mocking the royal traditions. Now, as many know, there's a scene in the series that shows Meghan doing an overly dramatic take of the royal curtsy she was to do when she met the Queen. As she is laughing it up, look over to Harry and notice his reaction. He is staring at her as if he's annoyed with her mocking something that is a part of his tradition. Interesting. Seeing as he is uncomfy by the mockery, it is definitely not a good look for Meghan at all. Other than the mockery, there have been several instances where Meghan chose to do what she preferred rather than respecting the rules of the royal family. Meghan's critics would say it was presumptuous of her to think that the centuries-old monarchy would suddenly change up its operations because of a newcomer. Meghan is not known to be someone who was going to change herself just to please the people around her. There was a combo where Meghan had to be reminded that she and Harry were not as high on the royal hierarchy as William and Kate Middleton, because Harry is only 6th in line to the throne, while William one day will become king. Number 7, not on good terms with the in-laws. When the news of Harry and Meghan's move out of Kensington Palace to strike out on their own first broke in November of 2018. The public and the press came to a unanimous conclusion as to why that would be. Meghan. Everyone pointed the fingers at the new royal, suggesting her alleged difficult Duchess attitude was not just reserved for the staff and had caused a feud between her and Kate. Obviously, all that turned out to be untrue. The Sussexes were expecting a baby and wanted more space than the 2-bedroom apartment they lived in at Kensington Palace. Kate and Meg have always had problems. It came out in November that there was a ton of tension between the royal family, as Kate and Meghan were not getting along. This meant that Prince Harry and Prince William were also not getting along, and the whole family just was not seeing eye to eye. This was super hard on everyone, but especially the Queen. Queen Liz was actually so fed up with the drama she made Kate and Meghan sit down and sort it out. Number 6, short temper. Meghan and Harry's whirlwind romance has been in the spotlight pretty much since they got together. With fans and haters watching their every move, this couple is used to getting lots of attention, whether they like it or not. When Harry got with Meg, people started watching Meg like a hawk, dissecting her every move. And naturally, when you're part of the royals, people are going to be more inclined to know what you're like. As someone part of the royal family, displaying strong emotions is not necessarily expected, especially in a public setting. After being invited as a guest speaker at the Power of Women charity benefit, Meg seemed irritated after pictures of her were published where she was seen lashing out at an employee in the parking garage. Pics published in the Daily Mail show her looking pretty ticked off while pointing directly at someone. Some believe she was scolding one of her employees, while others say she was letting a parking attendant have it. As a royal, I think Meghan should have been more mindful of her position and the amount of eyes on her. But hey, there's always more to a story, right? And it's hard to figure out with pictures out of context. Number 5, Oprah interview. After the famous Oprah interview dropped back in 2021, the couple has been accused of prolific lying, with lies being told about racism amongst other things. People just can't help but wonder what is the truth and what is being exaggerated. After getting an award for heroism, royal expert Angela Levin has spoken about how they did not deserve it because of the things that were said in the interview. If you have not watched the interview, there have been endless criticism on many things that have happened throughout the interview, from questionable body language to overdramatic recalls of personal situations. She brought up how she hasn't gotten any help with her mental health, which many are also quick to call out by saying that was fake news. The question really is, why would Meghan lie about that? Or is it just easier for people to think that she's lying since they already don't like her? Let me know what you think. Taking over the number 4 spot, playing victim. Prince Harry's newly formed and deeply damaging anti-royal beliefs are being peddled by Meghan Markle, according to some people, including royal author Tom Bauer, who said this while speaking to American journalist Megyn Kelly. He started by branding the American very clever and added, "Don't think for a moment that she's not convincing quite a lot of people that somehow she was thrown to the wolves." Of course, that's completely untrue. In the first 3 episodes, Harry comes out and says there's the leaking of stories, meaning by the palace, and also the planting of stories. And he is getting ready to say in these next 3 episodes that the palace and its staffers or whatever were planting negative stories on him and her. If we look objectively at the couple since breaking away from the royal family, who has gotten the better end of the deal, Meghan Markle is living in Los Angeles, pitching Hollywood decision makers, voicing Disney Plus documentaries, and positioning herself as a woke cultural voice. Prince Harry has given his family the cold shoulder, cutting ties with his grandmother, father, and brother. He's reportedly been depressed and feeling down. The high point might have been when he was filmed reading Thomas the Tank Engine. It doesn't take a genius to figure out who's benefiting. The final straw was watching Prince Harry throw his grandmother and all she's accomplished for the Commonwealth over the past 67 plus years under the bus, just to provide Meghan Markle with yet another cause to pursue. As if that wasn't bad enough, he made a complete fool of himself by showing his lack of knowledge on the matter. Seems to me like the Meghan haters are making it seem like it's Meghan's world and we're all just living in it. I'm not defending anyone, but making claims about situations you aren't a part of is very much giving fan behavior. Taking over the number 3 spot, Princess Diana 2.0. Apparently, Meghan always wanted one thing in life, and that was to become a member of the British royal family. Now, she's never confirmed that, but her friends say that she was always fascinated with the royals. According to some sources, this was all a part of Meghan's plan. She's wanted to be a princess since she was a teenager, her old pal once said. She was always fascinated by the royal family. She wants to be Princess Diana 2.0. She will play her role of lie, but my advice to him is to tread cautiously. I'm not shocked at all. It's like she has been planning this her whole life. She gets exactly what she wants, and Harry has fallen for her plan. Talk about an awful friend for outing Meghan like this, right? Number 2, not caring to learn about the royal family. Within an interview with Oprah, Meghan claims she knew nothing about the life she was set to live with the love of her life, Prince Harry. According to a well-placed source, that was, wait for it, a blatant lie. Prince Harry and brother William's private secretary at the time had created an organized folder with information and contacts to help Meghan in this transition into royal life. But clearly she didn't care to learn any of it, and on top of that accused the palace of not directing her through this journey. Sounds like a you problem, Meg. Another lie she had orchestrated was about not having her niece invited to the wedding she had said was guidance through the palace, when in reality the press team was desperate for Meghan to have more family and friends at the wedding, but she simply did not want her niece exposed to the media. And finally, taking over the #1 spot, the famous Netflix docuseries. We have all seen or at least heard about the 6-part Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan, and let me tell you the tea on these two, especially Meg, is hotter than ever. While it was back in 2020 that the couple stepped down from the throne to live a life away from the royal responsibilities to have a quiet and normal life, we can't help but question why everything they've been doing is the exact opposite of quiet. The internet has been up in flames over Meghan's behavior in the docuseries, and some even feel as if it should just be titled Meghan because of her dramatic approach to topics that some do not feel deserved a whole series, especially if they wanted a life away from the press and media. Body language experts have revealed that Meghan's behaviors and actions show her as a manipulative narcissist who is using Harry's vulnerability against him and controlling him to do everything she wants. Others believe she wanted to step away from the royals because she was unable to control the narrative of the British press. Now that is some drama. Let me know in the comments below if you agree.
Starting off with number 10, friends with Charles's wife. Before Diana learned that her fiancé was in love with another woman, she and Camilla were good friends. She even anticipated that she would be a part of her social circle following the royal wedding. Diana, on the other hand, realized before she and Charles got married that Charles still had a flame for his former partner, even though she was married at the time. Diana stated that she wondered if Camilla was making a mistake when she saw her in the church on her wedding day. As a result, as I was walking down the aisle, Camilla in her pale gray pillbox hat and her son Tom standing on a chair caught my eye. Literally what she says in one of her books. Number 9, blindsided princes. It's said that William and Harry were blindsided by their late grandmother's decision to approve of Camilla's title as queen consort. According to Christopher Anderson, a royal expert and author, the decision was driving a wedge within the royal family. Here's hoping that everyone gets over it. And although it is said that William and Harry are now friends with Camilla, King Charles has a long history of having an affair with her in the 80s and 90s while he was still married to Diana. In the end, Charles and Diana split up and eventually he tied the knot with Camilla in 2005. According to Anderson, who spoke with the publication, she was begrudgingly letting him do this, and one of the key elements was he promised Camilla would never be called queen consort. He says the late queen was skeptical about Camilla when she married Charles, and the circumstances were certainly challenging. However, through her dedication and loyalty to the firm, she was more than proved to her. Late queen was skeptical about Camilla when she married Charles, and the circumstances were certainly challenging. Number 8, the Queen and Camilla. Many of us know the Queen to be a small woman with colorful clothing and great hats, but she clearly knew how to stand her ground. By doing so, she helped to create a very awkward scenario with Camilla in December of 2020. As noted by Express, Camilla joined the Queen, then Prince Charles and other senior royals in one of their first public appearances together since the coronavirus shutdown. To the untrained eye, the event, at which people socially distanced, looked pretty normal, but body language expert Judy James explained that there was a lot of unspoken tension between the monarch and Camilla. According to James, Camilla stood in a very awkward stance, which was only heightened by the Queen's apparent confidence. James also noted that Queen Elizabeth spoke to the band that was playing, as well as her family members, with one exception. The Queen actively chatted to the band, engaging Charles in the conversation, while Camilla stands back slightly, with her rigidly placed arms suggesting an air of tension or awkwardness. Wonder what was going on behind the scenes after the event ended. On to number 7, still unwelcome in the family. Camilla was very direct about how William's children were with her. William made it clear that Camilla is the wife of his father, but not a step-grandmother to his children. The royal couple's 3 children are aware that they have 2 grandfathers, but only 1 grandmother. She went on to say William and Harry were respectively 20 and 23 when Camilla became their stepmother officially in 2005. She was more of a sociable adult that they occasionally saw at royal events. Camilla had never assumed any responsibility for the children of the Cambridges, especially considering the closeness of Catherine's parents, Carol and Michael Middleton. Number 6, King Charles is said to be on high alert regarding Camilla's drinking issues, which have gotten him into a lot of trouble. Charles has already persuaded his mother not to push him aside in favor of his son, William and Kate, and began by describing some trust issues that exist between King Charles and Camilla. Camilla was unsatisfied with the title of princess consort, which Charles had promised to her when they got married in 2005. She has always aspired to be queen, and Her Majesty did not approve until Charles allegedly pulled out his ace card, which put Charles on red alert about Queen Camilla's excessive drinking. Before coming to a conclusion, the informant also stated he knows Camilla is a loose cannon who's fallen off the wagon many times before and caused him untold embarrassment. Number 5, the Tampon Gate scandal. How can we talk about Camilla without bringing up the infamous scandal? As noted by The Mirror, Charles and Camilla were romantically involved for ages, and a secret recording of one of their conversations leaked. Cue Camilla Gate. It was 1989, Charles and Diana were still married, and Camilla was still married to Andrew. And the heir to the throne and Camilla were chatting on the phone about private time they wanted to spend together. One of the snippets from the conversation was Camilla saying, "I need you all week, all the time," to which Charles replied, "I'll just live inside your trousers or something. It would be much easier." The King of England, everyone. The audio recording leaked in '93 and was published in People with the headline, "Charles and Camilla, the tape." Safe to say it was a very awkward look for those involved. Number 4, the tension-filled wedding. Charles's wedding to Camilla was full of tension. First and foremost, Queen Elizabeth refused to attend the ceremony. While she had given her formal approval for the couple to tie the knot, she did not show up at the actual wedding, making for a rather awkward turn of events. While many speculated that her lack of attendance was a sign she didn't approve of the marriage behind closed doors, it was reported that the Queen didn't attend Charles and Camilla's wedding because she is the head of the Church of England and didn't want to publicly promote divorce and remarriage. Blanca Cobb, a body language expert, told Geo News that Charles' sons William and Harry were visibly uncomfortable during the wedding, and the photos evident pretty much were visibly uncomfortable during the wedding and photos, evident to pretty much everyone. William specifically was analyzed by Cobb and described as nervous, stiff, and plastered. And it was obvious that he was feeling anxiety. As for the happy couple, it's hard to say exactly how they were impacted by all the drama, but it couldn't have been the most painless experience. Number 3, Camilla and Kate. Camilla was spotted with Kate and Queen Letizia of Spain at an event in 2019 where Kate was accused of intentionally ignoring Camilla during her conversation with Letizia, as the Duchess of Cornwall was pretty much just left in the background of a conversation between the two royals. In the caught-on-camera moment, Camilla can be spotted trying to engage in conversation and seemingly butt in when she got an opportunity. At one point, Camilla even said something to Kate directly, but Kate just carried on talking with Letizia like Camilla wasn't there. So was it awkward? 100% yes. Did Kate intentionally ignore Camilla? It's difficult to say. Maybe she was just having a riveting conversation. Either way, it was not a cute look. And number 2, Prince William's thoughts on her. Since Charles and Camilla's marriage, Camilla has remained a prominent member of the royal family. However, her stepchildren, William and Harry, have maintained strict boundaries regarding their relationship. Angela Levine, royal author, says that William has made it very clear that the new queen consort will never play his late mother, Princess Diana. Camilla was very direct about how his children were with her. William made it clear that Camilla is the wife of his father, but not a step-grandmother to his children. The royal couple's 3 children are aware that they have 2 grandfathers, but only 1 grandmother. And 1 Prince Harry. In Harry's most recent memoir, Spare, Harry's portrayal of his stepmother, who is now queen, is perhaps the most critical. Despite the fact that Charles and Camilla had been romantically involved on and off for decades, they did get married even after Harry and William begged Charles to reconsider. Harry hasn't even forgotten that Princess Diana referred to Camilla as the 3rd person in her marriage. Harry once said that the tabloids had portrayed her as the villain in their union. She was the 3rd person and needed to improve her appearance. The 2 brothers did not consider it necessary and thought it would do more harm than good. They still wanted their father to be happy, but they never expected them to get married. Harry stated because of the need of her to rehabilitate her image and the connection she was making within the British press, that made her dangerous. Additionally, there was a clear willingness on both sides to exchange information. Given that she was on her way to becoming queen consort and that she belonged to a family that was structured in a hierarchical manner, there were bound to be people or bodies discarded in the open. Number 10, political scandals. King Charles had been accused of attempting to influence the British government. In 2015, Charles received confidential papers on the inner workings of the British government and that even elected ministers hadn't seen. How did he manage to get his hands on these papers? I have a feeling the excuse that he was part of the monarchy is not a good enough reason, but for now, let's just say that is why, since it is undetermined. The Guardian received 27 memos dubbed the Black Spider memos because it showed that the royal prince was somehow engaged in efforts about a range of issues, from orders of military helicopters during the Iraq War to illegal fishing of the Patagonian toothfish. The controversy here is that some people believe it's normal for a royal to be involved in political affairs, while some think members of the family should stay out of politics. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Number 9, financial scandal. Another scandal for us to talk about. Charles allegedly accepted unofficial commissions from a previous Qatari prime minister for his charitable endeavors. Sounds fishy. As a supporter of homeopathy, he had earned the label of being anti-science. Yikes. Charles has also drawn criticism for his lavish spendings. The king has 6 homes on his estate, 11 secretaries, a large staff of servants, many expensive cars, and an annual salary of $20 million. Yeah, I get that he's a king, but it's very interesting to know that not only does he have this insane annual income, but on top of that, the whole family is extremely secretive of their wealth and where exactly they get this money from. Any theories? I want to know. Any theories are welcome in the comments section. Please let me know what you guys think. Number 8, charity scandal. British police had launched an investigation with Charles's charity, the Prince's Trust, after reports of a cash for honor scheme. Accusations were made that a close aide, Michael Fawcett, offered a Saudi tycoon a knighthood in exchange for $2 million in donations. The investigation started after it was reported that Fawcett stepped down from his role as the chief exec of the foundation after being accused of misconduct. It was reported that tens of thousands of dollars were paid to make up for links to the king. So basically, they were trying to bribe Fawcett by offering him a royal title in exchange for money which allegedly would be going towards their foundation. Suspicious. Number 7, not the people's king. As hard as it might be for Charles, a key part of being the king is winning over the people, and as overwhelming his scandalous past has been, it's no surprise that there are still people who do not care for him as a king. Many reports from royal sources have claimed that the newly appointed king has waited 70 years for this moment and wants to do as much as he can to become a progressive monarchy and also to win over the hearts of the nation, as well as internationally. But because of their actions, media outlets and those who are more engaged in the royal family drama, like us, have been diving more into the history of the royals, which, let me tell you, is not the most perfect and influential history in the world. Tainted by the countless controversies and scandals, the royal family has been catching a lot of heat about how they are not using their power for the greater good, but rather abusing it while also remaining very secretive. Number 6, anger issues. The seemingly storybook romance between Diana and Charles. We all know how that ended. But one author claims things were much darker behind closed doors. Christopher Anderson has written a book about Queen Elizabeth's eldest son titled The King, The Life of Charles III. He spoke to numerous palace insiders as well as those who've known the former Prince of Wales or worked with him closely over the years. His goal was to further investigate the 74-year-old's lonely childhood and military training, as well as several scandals surrounding his relationships that rocked the House of Windsor. The marriage between Charles and Diana became so volatile that royal protection officers were wary of all the weapons scattered around the palace. Red flag. Anderson claimed the king had a huge temper. The constant tantrums and throwing a boot jack, which is a heavy wooden device for putting on hunting boots, made of iron and wood, which he threw at Diana's head and missed her, by the way. It was Charles's former valet, Ken Stronach, who alleged to Anderson that he was in the room when Charles, in the middle of an argument with Diana, grabbed a heavy wooden boot jack and threw it at her, missing the princess's head by inches. This relationship was so toxic from the beginning. The fact that it lasted 15 years is sad. Anderson wrote that during the marriage, Charles had sunk into a deep depression and thought he was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. He turned to one of his confidants, Arnold Goodman, and allegedly said, "I have nothing to live for." Goodman allegedly felt that Charles was showing the classic signs of depression. Charles not only believed he was trapped in a loveless marriage, but he feared that a divorce, if it could even be granted by the Queen, would have grave repercussions for his children, the royal family, and the monarchy itself. Number 5, royal wealth. Now that King Charles is living a king-size life, how can we pretend there aren't any regal secrets he's keeping from us? After inheriting the properties from his mother, Queen Elizabeth, Charles has been getting a lot more attention, and obviously we're gonna dig into the English wealth and their secrets. For a regular British citizen, any inheritance over $380,000 is taxed 40%. But King Charles doesn't have to pay anything on properties, jewels, and investments that probably are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Whatever happened to eating the rich? The royal treatment is getting out of hand. Having all this money and privilege on top of not having to pay all the taxes that you need to pay? Insane. The same document explains that the British Crown is also not legally liable for income tax or capital gains tax. Personally, I think the British people should overthrow the throne at this point because taxes shouldn't be reserved for regular citizens. Or what if they flipped and only taxed the extremely rich? Only. That is a society I would love to live in. Number 4, hiding details about their wealth. The royal family is under few requirements to disclose details of its wealth, but all I'm gonna say is if you want to find out, you can. The family's communications with the government are exempt from freedom of information requests, and their official papers are kept secret by Britain's National Archives for at least 50 years. The lack of transparency has led anti-monarchy groups, including the Republic, to call the monarchy an unaccountable public institution that has the power, secrecy, and influence to willfully abuse its position. Without a change, many details of the royal family's private wealth may never be known. Facts about the Duchy of Lancaster's offshore investments were leaked back in 2017, and those detailed roughly $13 million in offshore accounts. Other reports have suggested questionable foreign dealings or arrangements, including the knighthood offered to a Saudi national in response to the donation to his charitable foundation. Number 3, Princess Diana's letter. Paul, one of Diana's former butlers, said that the princess predicted her own passing in a car crash. Eerie. Apparently she was so scared 10 months before she passed that she wrote to Paul saying that there was a plot made by a member of the royal family and that her car brakes would be tampered with and she would suffer serious head injuries, and all of this would be so that the Prince of Wales could marry again. The letter she wrote read, "I'm sitting here at my desk today in October longing for someone to hug me and encourage me to keep strong and hold my head high. This particular phase in my life is the most dangerous. My husband is planning an accident in my car, brake failure, and serious head injury in order to make the path clear for him to marry." And whatever happened to this letter? They kept it in a very safe place, but will Charles ever elaborate on this super suspicious letter by Diana? Most likely not, but we would love to know the answers to this. Number 2, the royal affair. This one is no big secret. The Princess of Wales was very much aware of Charles cheating on her with Camilla. His mistress at the time was regarded as a villain long before Diana and Charles filed for divorce, and additionally she was resented up until the passing of Diana. The then Duchess of Cornwall was not specifically held accountable for Prince Diana's misfortune, but they did, however, discover a newfound hatred for her. And because of that hatred, Camilla had to hide for months. If Camilla had never gotten herself in this mess with Charles being one of the most hated royals, it would have never been something she'd have to worry about. But it makes you question, if he cheated on Diana, who knows if he's cheated on Camilla? And was able to somehow figure out how to successfully hide it from her. Number 1, the unwelcome mistress. The British public's acceptance of Camilla as Charles's lover was put on hold after Diana's passing. Even though it seemed illogical, Diana's passing made Camilla a supervillain in the royal saga. Charles and Camilla probably would have married much earlier if Diana had survived and gotten married as expected. Instead, for a number of years, they kept the relationship under wraps and out of the public eye. In 2004, the Prince of Wales tied the knot with his longtime partner, but she chose not to style her name as Princess of Wales. Number 10, not caring to learn about the royal life. Within an interview with Oprah, Meghan claims she knew nothing about the life she was set to live with the love of her life, Prince Harry. According to a well-placed source, that was apparently a blatant lie. Prince Harry and brother William's private secretary at the time had created an organized folder with information and contacts to help Meghan in this transition into royal life, but clearly she didn't care to learn any of it, and on top of that, accused the palace of not directing her through this journey. Another lie she had orchestrated was about not having her niece invited to the wedding, and she said it was guidance through the palace, when in reality the press team was begging Meghan to have more family and friends at the wedding, but she simply didn't want Ashley exposed to the media. Number 9, using Harry for status. Piers Morgan, a morning show host, has been one of Meghan's most outspoken critics, claiming that when she started dating Harry, she dumped him as a friend. In any case, I accept he might befuddle associate with companion. And Piers also tweeted, when Harry and Meghan parted ways in January, she used him to get to the top. People say I'm being too harsh on Meghan Markle, however, she broke up with her parents, the majority of her old friends, the royal family, and her family. She has additionally parted from William and Harry. I'm done fighting. He also referred to them as a pair of repulsive, deluded, narcissistic tools, following their announcement that there would be no further corroboration and zero engagement between them and the 4 UK tabloids. Morgan also forbade Harry and Meghan from being discussed on Good Morning Britain, the Daily Mail, The Sun, The Express, and The Mirror. Number 8, breaking protocols. Here is an extensive list of times Meghan has broken protocols for whatever reason. She's worn dresses of a shorter length than other royal members usually wear. The couple's wedding was not on a weekday, which is royal tradition. While on their South African tour, the couple made a request to only be referred to as Harry and Meghan instead of their royal titles. The two of them are regularly seen showing PDAs, such as hugging and holding hands in photographs taken by paparazzi. She wore Dior to Archie's christening, even though the royal mother typically wears a piece by a Brit designer. The couple announced baby Archie's birth in the gram, even though traditionally the news of a royal baby is shared on a ceremonial easel outside of Buckingham Palace. It is highly unusual for a royal to do so, but she hasn't worn pantyhose more than once. And there were images of her entering the car before the Queen. Another rule part of the royal family is not to voice any political views, but of course, Meghan has done that too. As tiring as it was to list all the times Meghan has done something different than what is usually part of the royal traditions or just unofficial rules, it makes us question Meghan's efforts to fit into the royals as she's claimed to do. In an astonishing allegation, the Queen was forced to step in and pull Meghan and Harry in line after Meghan was told she couldn't wear the original tiara she'd picked out from the Queen's collection. Meghan had her heart set on this tiara with emeralds, and Prince Harry hit the roof when they were told it was impossible for her to wear it. Apparently there was a very heated exchange where the Queen spoke to Harry about Meghan not being able to have whatever she wants. She also had to remind him that Meghan gets a tiara given by her. The message from the Queen was very much that Meghan needed to think about how she speaks to staff members and be careful to follow family protocols. On to number 7, codependent couple. Despite the royal family's take, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have attested to their seemingly fairy tale romance. In a 2018 interview with BBC, the couple sat down to talk about the origins of the relationship. However, thoughts about Harry and Meghan's possibly codependent relationship have become a trending topic on Twitter at one point, especially following the release of their docuseries Harry and Meghan. A user tweeted, in part, "They have the most unhealthy codependent relationship I've ever seen." Another person wrote, "I suspect Harry has been literally transformed by what he believes is his intense love for Meghan," adding that he's completely codependent on her. So what will come of Harry and Meghan's future together? Even though we don't know the couple personally, do we think their relationship is based on codependency, or is this just another case of people trying to determine their relationship with limited information? Number 6, Mad Meghan. Meghan and Harry's whirlwind romance has been in the spotlight pretty much since they got together. With fans and haters watching their every move, this couple is used to getting lots of attention whether they like it or not. When Harry got with Meg, people started watching her like a hawk, dissecting her every move. Naturally, when you're part of the royals, people are going to be more inclined to know what you're like, but someone part of the royal family displaying strong emotions is not necessarily expected, especially in a public setting. After being invited as a guest speaker at the Power of Women charity benefit, Meghan seemed irritated after pictures of her were published where she was seen lashing out at an employee in the parking garage. Pictures published in the Daily Mail show her looking pretty pissed off while pointing directly at someone. Some believe she was scolding one of her employees, while others say she was letting a parking attendant have it. As a person, I feel like keeping your cool in inconvenient situations is pretty important, but as a royal, I think Meghan should have been more mindful of her position and the amount of eyes on her. But hey, there's always more to a story, right? And it's hard to figure it out with pictures out of context. Number 5, Mad Meghan Part 2. Meghan was accused of abrasive behavior towards staff members and diplomats, according to an explosive royal biography. Looking back at the Sussexes' visit to Sydney, Australia, where they received an amazing reception, Tom Bower wrote, Meghan was allegedly abrasive towards her 4 female staff and even towards the local British diplomats. According to another report, Meghan allegedly threw a cup of tea into the air. He continued by saying that her anger may have been partly fueled by Harry, who does check up on social media every morning to search for snide comments, which honestly sounds pretty toxic. But anyway, number 4, using Harry for money. The engagement interview between Meghan and Harry was broadcast by numerous networks worldwide. When Sky News in Britain broadcasted live, comments began to pour in, and not all of them wished the couple well. In point of fact, numerous insults were leveled against Meghan, accusing her of being in it for the money, in addition to the congratulations, racist trolling, and allegations that she was acting inappropriately during the interview. One person wrote she sees British pound signs. Another person wrote she won the lottery. She won't give a crap anymore when she has that money. According to the Daily Mail, when Meghan and Harry announced the name and details of their new foundation, they hadn't finished registering for their website, so someone else took it. Additionally, that individual registered archwellfoundation.com and redirected it to a YouTube video of Kanye West's Gold Digger. That is some drama. Number 3, Megxit. In a dramatic turn of events, it seems Megxit was not entirely Meghan's fault after all. According to royal insiders, Harry has been doing some soul searching and apparently regrets their hasty exit from the royal family. While he still stands by his wife, friends say Harry has started to realize the magnitude of his decision and how much he has given up. His military titles, the ability to represent the Queen, the ability to represent the monarch, and even his relationship with William have all been affected. Some wonder if this means trouble in paradise for the Sussexes, or if Harry is simply grappling with the drastic changes in his life. Either way, it seems Megxit may not have been the liberation that Harry first thought, as he continues to chafe under the disapproving gaze of his family and subjects. Perhaps every marriage has its growing pains, even for runaway princes and their duchesses. Number 2, she doesn't get along with his family. Meghan and the royals have had a rocky relationship, but at the heart of it, all is family. For many couples, having each side of their family approve of the marriage is incredibly important. But when one side doesn't give their blessing, things can get complicated in a hurry. Meghan clearly understands this, as she underwent a lot of pushback when she decided to marry Prince Harry, despite some of the royal family's disapproval and hesitation, making it hard for the relationship to blossom. The fact that Meghan is not accepted within the family presents a challenge for both of them. It's clear that even though titles and fame surround this couple, at the end of the day, all people really want is for their spouse to be accepted by their family. Unfortunately, in this case, that doesn't seem to be an option, leaving Meghan and Harry struggling against constant turmoil and hardship as they try to make their marriage work. And finally, number 1, mockery. Meghan mocking the royal traditions. Now, as many know, there is a scene in their docuseries that shows Meghan doing an overly dramatic take of the royal curtsy that she was to do when she first met the Queen. As she's laughing it up, notice Harry's reaction. He's staring at her as if he's annoyed with her mocking something that is part of his tradition. Yikes. Seeing as he is uncomfortable by the mockery, it's definitely not a good look for Meghan at all. Other than mockery, there have been several instances where Meghan chose to do what she wanted to do rather than respecting the rules of the royal family. Meghan's critics would say it was presumptuous of her to think that the centuries-old monarchy would suddenly change up its operations because of a newcomer. Meghan is not known to be someone who is going to change herself just to please the people around her. And there was a conversation where Meghan had to be reminded that her and Harry were not as high up on the royal hierarchy as William and Kate Middleton, because Harry is only 5th in line to the throne while William is literally next in line. But that is all for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more news on your fave celebrities and juicy updates on the royals. And I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life.